All right, Godlings, it's a little dark out, so we're just going to do this. I'm having a snack and going to have this nice turkey sandwich with ranch dip. Freaking awesome. Instead of mayonnaise, ranch dip turkey. Oh, I think this is Cajun turkey, which is even better. It's really good. Ranch dip instead of mayonnaise. I recommend it. Anyway, let's get down to business. This might take a bit, okay? So, I'm waiting a few days and figuring this out and what to say, right? So, what happened was I was talking about how someone's talking about landlords and I'm thoroughly fed up with landlords. They want all the benefits without any liabilities. They take your money and then they say it's your problem for the place that they say they own. It's their place. And then they use your money. So someone said, and I get sick of that crap, but someone said to me that it sounds like I don't contribute to society. And I said, well, maybe at this point, maybe I don't. But I do contribute to society. I have in the past. And in fact, I think I've given way more to society than I've gotten in return. But that's all right. But there's a difference between giving to society and giving to the government. Okay. Now, contributing to society is doing something for your community. That's what I feel. Now, I believe in charity. I believe in helping others. But I think you should charity begins at home, right? You start with your friends and close family and all that stuff, people you care about, okay? Contributing to society is not giving most of your money to the landlord. That's contributing to your landlord, okay? You're paying for their fancy trucks, their vacations, put their kids through college, okay? Get it? Do you get it? Now, here's the other thing. When you break it down, contribute. Con is against or scam. Con is a scam, and tribute is a form of payment. A weaker group to a more powerful one to acknowledge submission or to ensure protection. Okay, that's what contribute means. Okay, now all these other people say, what happens is they feel like they contribute more than the next person. So they're going to get on your case and say, well, you don't do anything. I go to work every day. You don't do anything, or I do more than you do. But it's funny because what they have is they have Stockholm Syndrome, okay? They're going to get on your case because they think it's going to make them a bit favorable in the eyes of their captors or something like that. And they're going to be immune or something like that. Or they're already downtrodden and they want to trot on you to make sure you're down next, right? Now, here's the funny thing about that is the government is like the mafia, okay? Government's just like the freaking mafia. Now, and, I know some people, they're mid-level or whatever, and they work their jobs, and they think if they throw someone else under the bus, that they're going to be immune. No, eventually there's not going to be anybody else that's thrown under the bus, so guess who's going to get thrown under the bus next? You. But it's misery loves company. It's like, I have to suffer, so you must suffer also. That's what that is. I have to go to work and do this and blah, blah, blah. And, when people say that, it sounds like you don't contribute anything to society. It's like, don't tell me that you go to work and pay your bills out of civic duty. Come on now. Don't tell me you go to work and you pay your bills out of civic duty or out of the kindness of your own heart. Okay? Most people do that because they're scared shitless being homeless. They wouldn't know how to act or what to do. And they like their little cars and their 2.5 kids and their big house or whatever, So don't make it seem like you do that out of civic duty for society because, I go to work for society. Bullshit. You do it for yourself. But that's all that is. It's like, well, I got to go suffer than you do also, and that's the big deal with the homeless. That's why people don't like homeless. And I don't know why people think that homeless have it so good, because if you think homeless have it so good, then why don't you go do that? Why don't you go be homeless if you think they got it so fucking good? But they don't, okay? They don't. And I like, people say, oh, if you're homeless, just go get a job. Well, it ain't that fucking easy. I wish it was. But, I've contributed to society. Doesn't mean I won't contribute to society. And I still do in my own way, on my own time. And I'm very careful about how I do it nowadays. And here's the thing. There's absolutely no law that says you have to go to work every day and have to be in a house and a car and all this stuff. You just think you do because you're conditioned by society. Now, society will tell you society doesn't owe the individual anything, right? So, well, the individual doesn't really owe society anything either, okay? It don't. And there's no law that says you have to, okay? And here's the thing. There's no gauge for what people should contribute, who should contribute, or how much, or when, okay? And no one else can sit there and tell you how much you should contribute, when, or where, okay? That's not how that shit works. So, that all that being said, paying a landlord isn't contributing to society. Okay, you're just contributing to your landlord and the government to a degree, right? So, I get sick of this stuff where people are just totally in Stockholm Syndrome mode. I mean, they're just totally that's all it is. Instead of sitting around and saying, everybody knows it's screwed up and being part of the solution, they're just going to protect the problem and act like it's, the elephant in the room and just ignore it and hope it'll go away or something. But no, they're scared. They're too scared. They don't want to lose their things, or they don't want to be looked unfavorably upon by their peers and all that stuff, So, well, that's my 2 cents. It's long. This video is long enough, but that's my 2 cents.